Spoos offering
Recentered.
lower. I try to get short on 7s, continuing down on short 8s. I win that short at 8s. Continuation on momentum.
Order filled.
We're value area low now, shelling 0.9. Try to get long and scratch. Still selling on the delta.
Order filled.
I catch a long at 9, shelling point. Good setup. I immediately win the trade on momentum
filled.
movement. Fading delta. Fading CVD, fading delta. You can hear it in the left here, that fast clicking sound. Can't. And then I try to chase along at 8s, which is a lower probability opportunity, and I scratch the trade. Buyers are hitting in now at 7,
Order
shelling
filled.
0.7. There's a good fade trade here. I chase long again and scratch. I try to catch short at 8, but the Q stuffs. I miss out on the
Order
trade.
filled.
I get filled at 9, which is an antsy momentum trade, and I give back money in a poor setup, chasing. Not fear of missing out, but chasing momentum and not paying attention to the profile.
Order filled.
I anticipate, not predict. I chase 9s again.
Order filled.
Sell pressure into 9s and 0s now. Spoos at value, we're at the low volume node, 0 and 9.
Order
I
filled.
accidentally get short 8 and immediately lose it. It was VPOC, poor trade area, frankly.
Order filled.
Buyers now. I get short at VPOC again. Poor entry. LVN's right there. Shelling 0.7. The area to trade. I'm looking for buyers to get absorbed here. I'll take 8s if the tape stops. If they hold it and the tape stops, that means we're moving higher. Looks like we're going to hit the LVN here. I'm trying to get short 7s. In hindsight, I would get long 7s because the delta was rewarded in the bid at 8 stock. I scratched at 7. I was short. I flipped long there at 7, which I agree with.
Recentered.
I catch my original thesis, the winner there. I won it. We're hitting again now. We hit the LVN and cleared excess if that's an option at 7. And then we hit lower as buyers pile in, at least for a tick. But they stack through the node and we're hitting VPOC now. So the shelling point is 7. VPOC is at 5. It sticks out of the node.
Order filled.
I'm long 7. Looks like a hindsight momentum trade, but tape slowed down. The odds that it actually reverses to the other side is probably higher because it's slower tape. No initiative selling. I scratched 7. No initiative selling to push it lower though. I scratched 7. I'm chasing 7s now. Delta kicks in the tape. I can hear it. They're selling now. Looks like they're going to get absorbed. I got short 8s and scratched. They're hitting in the 9s, shelling point again. I'm going to try to get 9s. She went quiet and they stuffed 9s. Lack of initiative buying here though. At 8s, they just didn't want to hit it. They held 9s. They stack and pull again. 0s.
Order filled.
I'm chasing 9s short, which is kind of a hairy trade. I win that one, I get short 9s. I'm trying to get long 9s, which I agree with, because it's into the shelling point. Suppose it's into the node, you know, from the low volume node back into the value distribution. I missed that entry because the Q stuff's so fast, and I catch the tail end of slow momentum and a losing Q. Sell pressure at 8. VPOC of the day shifted. So I got in too late at the end of the move.
Order filled.
I got long 8s. Scratched immediately. 8s is VPOC. Visit value.
Order filled.
Recentered.
Long sevens. Won the trade through the LVN. Bids hitting on the delta. They start to get absorbed here. Spoo's still at value. Good short at 6.
Order filled.
Chase short at 6. Delta absorption. Scratch
Order
out.
filled.
Hit it again. Scratch out. Delta's still hitting.
Order
Askers
filled.
finally stuffed the queue at 6 into the node, but I scratch. I missed the trade. I try to hit it twice. It
Recentered.
turns without me, and the ask stacks by 100 near immediately. So
Recentered.
long nines. That trade. Same LVN area. Same shelling point 90. It's the volume profile ledge, the ledge of the profile where the value drops off. 6 and 7 are low volume nodes. 5 is a high volume node. Tape stopped at 5. Bottom of the range is 0. VPOC is at 8.
Order filled.
Short 8s. I don't really agree with this trade. That looks like a gamble to me. I like the trade. Sell pressure here. I get short. Lack of initiative selling. They stack now and clear the bid. Bids at 9. Self tape dries up. Bids hold
Order
9,
filled.
barely. Sell pressure quiets. I scratch. I was long 9.
Order filled.
Hit long 9 again.
24.
Really weak response from buyers. I get out. I scratch again. Tape has gone quiet on the ask. Buyers can't lift this. Should get short 9s. Because they stacked up to 100 and couldn't pull it out. So it looks like a fake queue on the bid. Spoos is shifting lower. Good time to short. 0, there's 200 on the bid. Holding the 9 up, it looks like it's going to pull. They keep the pressure up, but there's no sell pressure here. There's only 20 on the ask. Buyers hit in at 8 on delta. I'm chasing, but from hindsight, I should most likely be stalking shorts. That 200 lot spoofs again. Buyers are chasing now.
61. Sell.
Passive ask responds. I'm trying to catch a long here
Order filled.
for the past 2, and the queue jumped up without me. I couldn't get it. Take goes quiet on the ask. I
Order
get short
filled.
at 7. I win the trade. I chase the trade. Short again at 8 and scratch immediately. They couldn't make it through the node. Sell pressure here on delta now. It looks like value shifting higher, and that might be a real queue, the fake one I was talking about. Spoo's still at value. We're 8 bid, 7 offer right now.
Order filled.
I get short 8s, I think.
Order filled.
I get long 8s. I scratch. We're at value right now. Delta's quiet. I think delta imbalance is a solid edge, or it comes from, there's an edge from it. The tape's quiet right now, and we're at VPOC. This is probably the worst place to trade. I'm kind of sitting on my hands. The queue is moving upwards quietly. Not a lot of strong limit pressure.
Recentered.
Bid tape hits and gets absorbed. Now they're really pushing. 5 is a shelling point. We're trading 5.
Order filled.
I get short 5 preemptively. I disagree with this trade because there's still delta in my right ear playing the bid out. I'm using price clock now. Pay
Order
attention to
filled.
that. Of buyers hitting the tape, but it's not, there's no quietness or absorption or lowering in pitch. So I'm getting short 5s and scratching, fading this delta here. Spoos at 1, a little
Recentered.
bit overvalue. But they just keep hitting in, and they were also rewarded. The tape didn't fade and absorb. We actually moved up past the node, and now we're in a thin spot. I'm catching myself fading delta here, and the unidirectional move up into the ledge. I'm getting out with scratches, but I'd rather kind of be long. Now she's turning, but the delta is still there, and they're still hitting. I finally flip long after chasing and scratching.
Recentered.
They rally pretty hard from 5 to 2. Spoo's still at value, so I think she's probably going to pick lower here in a second, especially because the majority of value is
Recentered.
9-4.
Order filled.
Short 4s. This is the wrong trade. Momentum is slowed down. 5 is a shelling point. I scratched it.
Recentered.
I was right though that we temporarily cleared 5. Now there's selling pressure here into 5, trying to get price back into the distribution. We'll see how buyers respond.
Order filled.
I get long 5, which I believe is a solid trade. The bid is stacking, which makes me think they're bluffing. Sell pressure is also persistent on the delta. It's not going away. Now it's quiet. I should pull my order here. I have a long at 5. I'd rather get short here. Because there's sell pressure. There's no buy pressure on the tape. I think the buyers are bluffing because of how big their size is and how close it is to the price. Work though, because we rallied from 5 to 4. I think delta's going to start hitting the second buyers. Sellers again. That's really interesting. Trying to catch a short at 4. I pull the order, which is a good idea because I'm not sure what's happening right now. It looks like we held. I get short 4s. It looks like we held 5s, the outer edge of today's distribution, and we're actually pushing out into the node. I think buyers are going to get the message in a second and try to chase. I finally chase long at 4 for a breakout, and I immediately lose the trade. Sellers step in and kick me out.
Order filled.
Pretty gross misread. And then I get short 5s and get whipsawed. So I just played the distribution, and I think I got short
Order filled.
4s as well out of instinct and scratched. So 3 is the ceiling and 6 is the floor by the looks of it. Tape is relatively moderate here.
Order filled.
I get short 4s. I scratch it. These are little market making trades by the looks of it.
Order filled.
I'm long 5s. Sellers are hitting in on the delta. Looks like a seller's market on the delta, pushing price lower. If bids can hold, it'll reverse them all, but I try to catch long 5s here. I catch long 5s. There's an all-right initiative buying here, but nothing major. I scratch. I'm going to try it again. I have a limit in for 5s, but the Q stack's so heavy, I just don't get a chance. Now buyers start to hit in. I'm curious to see if the offer lives. We're in the outer edge of the distribution now. I'm short threes. Now, buying tape has dried up on my ear, but price didn't revert, so I went short for an absorption play there, but they weren't being absorbed. They were actually being rewarded and value held, which tells me it's a buyer's market. I lost that trade.
Order filled.
I get long
Recentered.
two. There's like a spam of active big tape in the background, though you can't hear it because it's so quiet. But they spammed a bunch of orders between 1 and 2 where I was long. I scratched longs
15.
at 2s. She's still quiet. Spoos at value.
Order filled.
15.
Long 2s. Bit of a tooth and nail session here.
Order
Because she'll
filled.
stack to like 70 and come back down for whatever reason, and I'll take a scratch on it.
Order filled.
1 is the lowest point in the node. Chasing long buyers here. They're getting absorbed. There's a 400 lot at 0 on the ask. I'm trying to play it like an ES spoof order. Price will leave it and then come back and hit it and fill it. That's what I'm trying to play it like, but thinking that during the session, and that's actually not what happened. Q behaved different. Came back to it, and it was a ceiling for that over and over again. It's the shelling point. Price is at 3 and
Recentered.
4, and delta is hitting into 3 and 4, so it looks like there's a reversal here. I'm gonna try to
Order
get
filled.
3s. I got 3s. Q's hesitant. I'm probably gonna scratch here. I would say hold the trade longer, but survive. I want
Order filled.
to manipulate the Q, and I got long 3s. That was a really good trade because it was a return pullback from point of the node. The phantom ceiling at 1 down to the value area high of the day's distribution, and the delta hitting in rounded the bottom because it exaggerated price action, and those people were absorbed by limit orders. So ask delta here being absorbed between 3 and 2, and price is moving up. Spruce is away from Ponk now. It's offering between 7 and 4, which
Recentered.
is a value area high and a low volume node. There's breakout conditions in the spoos. I got long 1s and lost. Momentum dried up.
Recentered.
No delta pressure, just mildly sized lots in the background.
Recentered.
Selling pressure here at 5.
Order
They get
filled.
absorbed. I was short, I scratched. I'm long 4s now. I'm trying to get long 4s again. Q thickens up bid-wise pretty heavy here.
Order filled.
I get filled at 3 chasing a breakout. Opportunity's largely gone. I need some sort of indicator like delta hitting again or something for us to see that 418 on the ask at 0
Recentered.
again.
Order filled.
I can hear buyers being absorbed on the delta. I'm long 2, I scratch.
16.
Buyers are quiet now. Price didn't move lower, so it looks like value held
20.
because it didn't reverse in the face of the delta, right, on the buy side when they hit, and they also went quiet again, which meant flow stabilized, and it looks relatively equal now. If I could go by size, there's more size on the inside print bid and ask between 2 and 3. 2 and 3 is like I said, you know, uh, the tail end of the Gaussian distribution. It's 2 ticks away from VPOC, and it starts to thin out. Spoos is offering higher. Nasdaq is actually the one lagging here. I'm just trying to get in and scratch. I know I'd take a trade at 1, trying to hit into that order as a breakout trade. The ask 432 at 0. I think I will certainly lose this order. Buyers get absorbed a little bit on the tape. I get filled at 2. Again, momentum just in the periphery vision slows down. I was short 2. I lost the trade. And then sellers pile in here. I'm going to see if they get rewarded, or looks like they're going to hit 3s. Yeah, they hit 3s. The bid spoofed, and then they pulled, and the ASCII didn't move. Sellers are quietly hitting on the delta. I would go with sellers here down to 4 at least, and declare 3s. The bid is spoofing, and they can't get him to move. Delta went quiet again. Bunch of meta order
Recentered.
sells in the background, or large order sells. It was like 5, 10, 10, 10. And then right after that, price
Recentered.
pukes, and I missed the entire Q run down. I try to catch 3 trades. Delta on the sell side is just exploding here. We're back down at VPOC. It was a really fast and violent move. I don't think I could have clicked in on a fill, but that was a great indicator of price moving. It also looks to appear to have correlated with the spoos. Now at the end of a move, the incentive to defect is higher than to stay in it. We know this. I get short 5s and I lose the trade as the bid stacks. The ask goes quiet and the buyers begin to pick up the pieces for a little bit.
Order filled.
We stopped at VPOC. I'm chasing short here. In my mind, subconsciously playing a little reversion bounce. Like I was betting on normative order flow around VPOC and they rallied it instead. I lost that trade as well. That was a bit of a Hail Mary. Not really predicated by any flow, and more from the understanding that I could scratch out if I wanted to, and they didn't let me scratch. That is a bread and butter trade to take, like a 1-tick reversal after a unidirectional move, assuming momentum has died off. So I'm disappointed that I played that way. It's 9:54 now. That's the time I've been trading for 28 minutes or so.
Order filled.
I get short 3 and scratch.
Order filled. Order filled.
Short 5s.
Recentered.
On sell pressure, I win that trade. I chase a short here though, I disagree with it. We're at a low volume node here and delta is slowing down. Looks like they're going to get absorbed. In the process of getting absorbed here, should be long 6. I try to get long 6 and they stuff too heavy on the bid. Stuff meaning it stacks too fast for me to get in. So I mean really stuff. And the Q is the bid ask Q, the order book.
Order filled.
Long fours, a scratch.
8, 5. 4, 5.
Tape is quiet now, 3 and 4, spoos at value. We saw some buying there on Delta, and they were relatively rewarded. It
filled.
looks like 5 VPOC is a floor. I'd like to see some initiative buying hold it up.
Order filled.
That doesn't seem to be the case. It's a little bit. The offer lifts here and then restacks, so buyers appear to have the upper hand. I would be willing if it came back down to scratch again. I was short
Recentered.
there for some reason. I think I'm fatiguing cognitively here, and that's what's going on. Or I'm just reading too much into the delta and marrying my trades. I was short 4s. That was a good trade to be long. Because the delta on the bid hit, and they weren't faded. They were rewarded, and we were forming a bit of an auction above 5, which is VPOC, and Spoos is still offering above VPOC. It's 2 ticks above value. Back in the shelling point node here.
5, sell.
Big delta imbalance.
5, 5. 6, 5. 4, 5. 8, 5. 7, 5. 7, sell. 5, 5. 4, sell. 4, sell.
Order
4,
filled.
sell. 5,
Long 3s.
10.
Meta order selling here.
5, sell.
Bid stacks. Well, Delta is bidding. Lack of initiative push from the bid queue. My alarm goes off. 2 looks like a good short area. My only concern is that the queue on the ask is high, and they just spoofed and they can't move the bid. It looks like the delta is going to be rewarded simply by the queue spoofing on the ask and not being able to lower the passive queue on the bid.
47. Buy.
It turns there. Somebody throws a bunch of meta orders in there. Delta's really hitting now.
25.
I get short 2s. I strongly disagree with the short at 2s, which is a distribution fill out. Delta is still hitting on the bid here, and they turn the queue in their favor. The ask is also spoofing heavily, and they can't lift it. I get out for a scratch, but I mean, that was way too early. Yeah, 2s is a shelling point.
7, 5. Recentered.
The queue lightens up in light of news. They're hitting and being absorbed very heavy at 0, which is where the 400 lot was. Would be a good place to short and lean on the 400 lot from a philosophical perspective. Short 1s, leaning on the 400. 400 starts to crack.
100.
Meta
42.
order
Buy.
trades for 142, and I lose the trade. And then it repopulates. Delta is still hitting on the bid. These are abnormal conditions. It's right after news. I get short and scratch.
Order
Now
filled.
bid delta's being absorbed. Spoos is still between 7 and 4.
Order filled.
I'm still trying to hit the short. Bid delta will not shut up. Okay, quiet campsite. It went quiet again. Bid delta didn't have this huge punishment that moved the tick lower, and the two bid stack held. So I'm going short again, but I should most likely get long here. because of the delta, assuming the bid stack would hold. But I got short and it actually worked out in my favor. It quietly trended lower for a second before the bid repopulated. But you know, like 3 scratches and a loss. I was short once. 3 scratches and a loss. I'm not a huge fan. She's quiet again. SPOO's offering lower. Nobody to fade. A strange part of the profile.
Recentered.
Okay, bid starts pulling, meaning they start pulling orders like crazy here. Sellers hit in on the delta. Delta hits. When somebody hits, that means they hit into the bid. They're hitting lower. They're trying to hit lower. So when somebody hits into the bid, they're a seller.
Order filled.
When somebody lifts, it's a buyer. If I say they lift, the buyers lift, because when a buyer lifts the offer, he's crossing the spread to hit the offer queue. He lifts it. I get short 2s. I disagree with it. We had this big trend down. I scratch it. We had this big trend down. 3 is the start of the value area distribution. 2 to 8
43
is
sell.
like the whole thing. It's the Gaussian distribution. Now we crack 3s, and I'm trying to get short because we cracked it. But it could most definitely be a plunge in the absorption of delta, which is a higher probability. I scratch it and I get short 3s again. I should be long here, especially with the delta piling in, trying to catch a breakout
Order
lower.
filled.
I should be long. I get short 2s here. I think I'm fatiguing cognitively here. You know, nothing you can do about that. You just have to keep going, because I can't afford to miss out on the time. I lost that trade as well. This is a plunge back into the Schelling point 1 and 2, which is where the distribution begins to thin out, and that's why it's important. Now there are buyers at 2, and I get short, which I agree with, because we're at a Schelling point. I'm going to try a couple scratches here and see how the queue moves on the bid, and if I can't work it, I'll get out. The bid lifts from 120 to 100 down to 70 shortly. The ask is stacking, and I was short 2 and scratched because it hit my stop, and I didn't have an opportunity to re-enter, but it looks like there's a reversion trade here for at least a tick, depending on how the delta in the tape plays out. Delta's quietly
45
hitting,
sell.
which is fine, and then a 45 lot hits, and they sell into it. Delta's still quiet here. I don't agree with getting long because of how quiet the delta is. We're also in the mean. We're also in the regular distribution too. It's the Schelling point. I'm trying to catch long 3s. I leave a stale bid because I'm kind of tilted here. I should scratch this, frankly. You know, it's the same persistent delta we heard back when we were rallying against that 400 lot and formed an auction up there. I don't want to be in front of that if they're not being absorbed. They weren't being absorbed. So there was a short opportunity there that I missed out on. There are also little large full lots executing in the background.
Recentered.
Order filled.
SPOO's back at value.
Order filled.
Still pretty strong but quiet sell pressure here. Looks like the bid is bluffing. 2 Schelling point, meta order buys in the background, bunch of 5 lot buys. The Q at 2 on the ask looks pretty real. Well, it just lifted 50, it just pulled 50, so it's beginning to deteriorate. Now buyers hit the delta, and it took a while to clear that on the ask, and it immediately replenished. So there's a short here definitely off of 2s. I should be short 3s when it cracks, and see if the bid at 4, which is 163, it used to be 200, lifts. So it looks like somebody's pricing in failure or move lower. I should be short 3s if this cracks. And the tape is quiet too, which is good, because I don't want to be running with delta, because I think for the most part it's faded. for the most part, limit orders faded. Okay, it cracked at
Order
3.
filled.
Short, tape is slow, so it's probably going to take a few entries. I scratch 1. No initiative buying, like just a couple 1-lots. I should be short here. That's so disappointing.
Order filled.
Okay, I'm short here now. They can run it up and it'll crack, then... Okay, the bid pulls aggressively, so I thought they were bluffing and I was right. Meta order selling, no delta yet, which is, I think, what you want to hear, I'm not sure. It's just like 5s and 4s and stuff. I scratch it, but that was a good attempt and it was a good scratch. They held 4s, the bid did. Delta's still quiet, I suppose it's 7 and 4. Meta order buying here. Or just large order buying, not specifically meta order. Buy delta kicks up. 1 and 2 shelling point before we get into the low volume node. Suppose at value. They're being absorbed. They're making some progress. There's a breakout here. I should be long if I can get it. Bid went quiet and they couldn't clear it. Delta went quiet. I mean, there's a breakout here.
Recentered.
And then 10:08 tape pulled. I think that was news, unplanned news specifically. All the more reason to have a stop in. Yeah, the SPOOs jumped from, well, a 12 tick aggregate. It's for 3 points. 1, 2. The SPOOs jumped 12 points in 1 second, and Nasdaq followed. So I wasn't in that trade. I was thinking about it. I was so beaten down mentally, not super beaten down, but beaten down mentally at this point. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. What's wrong with me? You know what I mean? That I've sat on my hands and I thought, well, I'm going to lose money, so why don't I just sit and watch and learn, even in this poor form. The ask is hitting now at 4 pretty heavily on the delta. The Q has pulled. There's only like 70 lots and stuff. I get filled at 4. There's opportunity here because algorithms pull their liquidity.
Recentered.
Chasing along here. Meta order selling. Flow begins to normalize. They go quiet. I win that long. I chase it again. Ask stacks like too fast for me to scratch at 3. And then now I'm in a battle here. I'm most likely going to lose it. I lost the trade. I was long 3 on continuation. Tape is quiet now. Delta's gone. Reversion back to the mean. POC most likely. Very interesting. I don't know what happened there, but meta order selling. 6 below VPOC shelling point. Let's see if they defend it or not. Hitting into 6. On both sides, delta and meta orders. I chase absorption here. The bid starts to pull though. I was long 5 at VPOC. You know, they just relentlessly hit it and they stack.
65.
I don't put my break even in because I think I have it. I'd strongly disagree with that. You can tell I'm fading cognitively here. I scratched the trade finally, which was the right decision to make regardless of how I felt with it. There wasn't really initiative buying, even though the tape was pretty strong. Now there's buyers on delta. Pitch is lowering, meaning they're not making progress and they're actually being beaten to death. And now they start making some progress.
Order filled.
I don't really want to go with them. I want to see if the ask pulls, right? So we're at 4 now. I get long 4s, right? There's a lot of buy delta and they're pushing, pushing, pushing. There's no initiative response from the ask queue. I mean, from the bid queue. I wait and wait, and finally they stuff it. They can only lift to 50, and then 130. They spoof
71.
130 on the bid, and I
Order filled.
scratch. I should be short here, I believe. Delta went quiet. Delta went quiet, and price remained the same on the bid, which tells me flow is normalizing. We didn't move lower, so we didn't fade the delta. I was short here. There should be a
Recentered.
scratch. I lost the trade instead. They didn't let me out. But realizing they were, that's an all right read, that they were initially hitting and it wasn't moving price and they were being absorbed, but there just wasn't any initiative response from sellers. I get short 3s. These buyers here show up again. They started at 166. Tape literally freezes. My platform freezes right there. And my order was also laggy this morning, but it's not worth mentioning. I get short 2, which is a poor trade because the delta on the bid is still slamming. I scratch it. Now tape is quiet and nobody's being faded yet. Be a good long here.
Recentered.
Bid delta shows up again at 1. We're into the node now. If they're gonna kick in, it'll be on flow. It's not gonna be in any specific area. I'm talking about sellers here. I'm short 1s preemptively, which is incorrect. There's a heavy bid stack at 0. I mean a heavy ask stack at 0, which I expect to lift. Buy delta's hitting again. Buy delta is hitting again. I'm trying to get long 1s. They're not going to let me in most likely. Yeah, and the heavy ask at 0 that had 200 on it, it's spoofed. There's a meta order that trades 45 buy. Tape explodes on the bid on the delta. They're being rewarded here. So this is a full-blown unidirectional breakout, and I've faded the entire thing with scratches and basic losses. You know, I just didn't recognize, or I didn't listen to the tape paying off. I get short again at 9, trying to call a top. I should just be long here. Finally right, and was I even? I get long there. I get whipsawed completely. I faded the whole move, and then I got whipsawed. I was long 9s.
Order filled.
And then I get short 0s.
Order filled.
I'm short 0s now. Tape went quiet. Now, what's most likely going to happen here is the bid is going to hold at 1, and they're going to form a bit of an auction. I don't expect it to crash completely right now. So like a long at 0 or a long at 1 up into 9 or 8 would be all right from a little market making perspective, especially since the SPOOS is crossing its low volume node. It's at 3 right now. It's at 3, which is the start of its other node. I'm short 0s, which I agree with actually. On buy delta too, which isn't bad. So they got absorbed. I scratched. Sell delta kicks in now. I'm watching to see if I can fade it or if they're going to lift this bid. I think they're going to lift the bid. I mean, I think they're going to kick the bid out. Doesn't matter what I think, that we're listening to order flow. On that sell delta kicking in, I try to flip long. The bid stacks too aggressively for me to get in. And I technically miss a trade. We're back at shilling point 1 and 2. Sell delta heading in here. Shelling point 1 and 2. Good fade area to fade. I'm short ones. And the bid is stacking. There's initiative buying on the bid with the sell delta in the background hitting in. Sell delta in the background hitting in, which is a good setup. It's also the shelling point 1 and 2. I was shorted and I got stopped out. Flow normalizes now. Opportunity doesn't look, it looks like there's less now. Buyers can't rally out of that node into the low volume node, so it looks like mean reversion if they can break twos. That would have been a good market making quiet short at ones because she normalized and the initiative buying peeled off. It was more so, I believe, a response from fading delta, sell delta. I get short ones in the scratch.
Order filled.
I get short ones again. That's not a bad trade. The bid spoofs. The ask is losing. The bid spoofs aggressively again, trying to push the ask out, and they're probably going to succeed because we're in the 20 on the ask. I lost the trade. But after it spoofs, it normalizes. We're back to regular flow. The phantom auction ceiling is 0, and the floor is 2. Some initiative buying here from passive buyers, which lead the queue because they're oftentimes more informed. A thick ask queue at 9 for 200. Some initiative selling as well at 0. This is a quiet market making trade. No order flow in the background. It looks like just the queue market making. It looks like just the queue market making, exchanging orders. I think I got short there. I tried to get short. They wouldn't let me in. No, I was long. Was I long 0? I think I was long 0. Timestamp 46:58 in the video. And I didn't put my break-even scratch in. And so I just watched, let it happen. I would have never done that one of my older sessions. So you can tell I'm waning off. I have to though, because I don't have the ability to replay price squawk on demand. So I have to trade live for more than 30 minutes. Even though decision making decreases by like however what percent, I lose that trade. I told you the floor is at 2. We're at 2 right now. We see little initiative buying and absorption from the same setup here. Absorption from sell delta and some initiative push from passive buyers.
Order filled.
$45. Sell. 34. Sell. 6, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. 4, 5, 5,
Order filled.
I put in a front running a weird limit order, clicked in limit order and got a really weird fill here. Zero shelling point, profile ledge. Ledge is, where the profile drops off. Zero shelling point ledge. 2, 3 shelling point ledge. I had a weird order there because I clicked in. I'm probably not going to do that again for a while. I don't know if I won or lost. It looks like I lost.
Order filled.
Just long nines, scratched. Got long nines again. There was initiative buying on the delta. This is a shelling point and a good place to fade or look for shorts. And I took a breakout long on no momentum, really. So I'm about to get what I deserve, I believe. Sell delta shows up, ask delta. Bid Q holds low 40s. I pull my break even here. The audacity is the bid stacks. It spoofs to 140. They don't lift the offer. The offer's still, 50, 40, whatever, and then it goes back down to 90. It's evident that I'm losing the trade here. And we're back to quiet campsite. No sounds on tape. Keep in mind I'm using price squawk now. That's why I'm talking.
Nineteen five.
It looks like they were going to hit my order here for break even at 9, and I pull the order again. I'm losing it. I said I wouldn't do that in a regular session. I have to keep going, so you have to give me some sort of alternative remedy because the time is too precious. I can't get off and walk away. I know measured in execution, opportunity, etc. Blah blah blah. But I can pull 1 hour of looking at a chart. It's not that bad. You can estimate the cognitive decline if you want and tell it to me. Do not include it in the PDF in the text file transcript. Just tell me when I talk to you. I believe I lose that trade at 9. Tape is slowed down. It's 10:22. I get out for a scratch. I should have gotten out for a scratch a long time ago. That was a coin toss.